Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlan, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sean Brodrick, senior editor at WeissRatings.com. Welcome back to the show, Sean.
Thanks for having me on.
Sean, the market's drastically down last week. They seem to have perked up, but is this a pattern you think we're going to see a few days down, one day up kind of thing, kind of a little step down instead of all at once?
Well, I think people should be looking at charts of either the NASDAQ or the S&P 500 because those are really the broad market indexes. I mean, you could make arguments for other ones, but the interesting thing is the NASDAQ came down to find support at its 50-day moving average, and the 3 days previous to that, by the way, were three of the worst candlesticks I've seen in the market in a heck of a long time. It was just horrific, but it is bouncing from its 50-day moving average, so maybe it's just a retest. And if you're thinking about what moved that, well, first of all, we had a tremendous run up, so some kind of pullback would be normal and necessary even. So that's just part of it. Also, there's been a real fight over any kind of more stimulus that might pass through the Senate and the House. And for a while, they really weren't even going to try. And then Wednesday morning, Chuck Schumer came out and said there will be a stimulus package. So that gave the market some hope. And then, we had President Trump speak about decoupling the U.S. economy from the Chinese economy, which frightens a lot of people. He's probably not serious about it. He often says things that he does not follow through on. But I think that the market heard that at the wrong time on Tuesday and just said, "Oh my God, here we go," and they sold everything. That plus the weakness in tech, just because of the whole China thing, and the weakness in energy due to a couple of things. The ending of the summer driving season is right around the corner. Demand still hasn't come back, and now the Saudis are speaking about cutting their prices. So you put those things together, you can see why the market sold off. The question is this bounce for real, or is this just a short-term bounce before we take another leg down? I don't have the answer to that. I do know that I'm investing in the things that are doing better in this market, at least not suffering as much during the sell-offs and leading on the ways higher. And so I think you should be looking for those areas of strength. You could try and buy high-flying tech stocks for a rebound, and you might do well, but then you have to know exactly when to sell, so good luck to you on that one.
Is this a game where it is perhaps not a bad idea to take cash and see which way the wind's going to blow?
I've been raising cash in my own portfolio, and then, of course, I say that, and then I just bought a bunch of gold stocks. So, don't take my advice. But, gosh, some gold stocks look like they were about to pop, and in fact, into some things which have really been taking off, and so I think there is resilience, particularly in the precious metals area. I think that's one thing people should be looking for strength, not only in the short term, but longer term as well.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after this.
Value from success. Growth in discovery. Golden Arrow Resources is a well-funded gold-copper exploration company with proven management and prospective properties in Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay. Golden Arrow trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange, symbol GRG, on Frankfurt, symbol G6A, and the OTCQB, symbol GARWF. For more information, visit us at goldenarrowresources.com or call Sean at 778-686-0135.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications, patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. The junior gold miners doing okay, even though we had a market downturn. Is silver also positive, and what could be behind silver?
Oh, yeah. Silver's looking great. Well, for one thing, we have a big supply crunch. Of like all the metals, silver seemed to suffer the most from the mine shutdowns that we had earlier this year. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but it's actually causing a real deficit in global supply this year. That was noted by the Silver Institute recently, is that there's been a tremendous hit to the global production of silver, enough for, and this was according to one guy's estimate, so God knows if it's true or not, but enough for like the amount of silver that would be used in 100,000 solar panels. So obviously silver has been hit on the supply side. On the demand side, I'm hearing, again, this is anecdotal. You don't know how much weight to actually put into it, but I'm hearing from people who actually sell metals that before the latest round of troubles, they were seeing people buy gold 60% and then silver maybe 40%, just kind of with like the extra money they had. Now they say it's 50-50. In other words, demand has shifted to more silver. I think people can see that there could be a supply-demand shortage, and they're trying to position themselves ahead of that. Whether that supply-demand shortage actually comes through, we don't know. It's just that's how certain investors are actually positioning themselves now.
Is one of the problems there are few sole silver properties are usually part of some other kind of mining operation, and silver is just a happy byproduct?
Yeah. I mean, you get a lot of silver from, say, copper mines, for example. And we just saw another shutdown down in Chile because of the problems at the copper mines down there, which means there will be less silver coming into the world. So that is part of the problem, is that silver is a byproduct, or I should say a lot of silver is a byproduct of other mining.
Do you have to be very aware of the geopolitical situation if you're invested in mining?
Well, you at least have to be aware of the geopolitical situation in the locality of like whatever mines you own. I'm not saying you have to become a world geopolitics expert, but if you're investing in a mine in one of the areas in Africa, you have to know, say, Burkina Faso, for example. You have to know how that country differs from other countries in the rest of Africa and in those countries surrounding it. Why would you choose that country over another country? And you always have to weigh those kinds of things against investing in a very friendly locality, like, say, parts of Canada, parts of the U.S., that are really mining friendly. And so that actually makes things so much easier when you're in an area that is actually friendly to mining.
Sean, what's going on with solar?
Well, the amazing thing that's going on with solar is how much the price of solar panels is falling. I mean, you can get the average price of your typical solar panel is now under 17 cents per watt. That is so cheap. That's like the price of one was about 12 times more just back in 2010. So in a decade, we've seen a tremendous drop. And so because of that, we've seen sales booming. And we're also seeing Wall Street position into solar power ahead of what could happen in the 2020 election. That is, if Joe Biden wins, then we'll see more action on the Green New Deal, which will mean more money for solar, probably more jobs in solar, that kind of thing too. But very good news for those companies that are in that area.
And of course, if you're utility, you want to trim your costs as much as possible, right?
Well, yeah, in fact, I just had a friend up in North Carolina. I say up in North Carolina. For you folks in Lake Canada, he would be down in North Carolina. Anyway, he just went to full solar for his house because of the deal he got. Now, he had to sign a 25-year agreement, so it's locked into the house, which is fine. But his price of power is slightly under what he was paying monthly anyway. And Duke Energy, which runs the power in North Carolina, normally raises its prices by 3 to 5% per year. So just looking at that, his cost savings alone is going to be quite good. I think we're seeing a lot of activity in microgrids like that, so not like huge sprawling networks, but microgrids are we are seeing a lot more activity there, and there's new tech coming along. I mean, that's just really improving things. They're now going to have solar windows. That's like one of the big things that they have been working on. Of course, they could never make them energy efficient before, but the University of Michigan came up with this solar window technology that actually works out quite well. We now see the U.S. military getting into it. So you put these things together, and the future looks quite bright for solar, I think.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after this.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, anything going on with uranium?
Well, there's a lot going on with uranium. We are seeing prices start to inch up again. There's talk of real supply-demand squeeze because, Kazakhstan had to delay opening its mines again. So we'll see how it goes. What will really happen is on the demand side, for the longest time, the users of uranium, all the big utilities, have been able to put off fulfilling long-term contracts and just pick it up on the spot market. If there should suddenly be a squeeze in that short-term market, that could really send shockwaves throughout the entire system. Everyone's been waiting for that to happen for quite some time, by the way. We just haven't seen it yet. Will it actually happen? I'm in a show-me mood on that. That said, that doesn't stop me from owning uranium mines, both in my subscribers' portfolios and in my personal portfolio. I think that that story is a no-brainer. It's just really a question of when. I mean, really, it has all the ingredients for a major price move, not only in uranium itself, but especially in a few select stocks.
Has the marijuana space improved?
Well, marijuana had a tough couple of weeks. We took some gains because it got stopped out of things. That's okay. It's showing strength now, moving up with the NASDAQ. In fact, cannabis stocks in the U.S. anyway seem to be leveraged to the NASDAQ. So when the NASDAQ goes down, the cannabis stocks plunge. When the NASDAQ goes up, the cannabis stocks soar. Canadian cannabis, really, I'm not actually participating in that right now. I have seen a few things over the past couple of weeks where people trot out a well-known stock and say, oh, look at the good news in this stock. And I look at the fundamentals they've been reporting, and it is not good news at all. So there's too much happy talk, not enough reality up in the Canadian cannabis industry. That won't change until the Canadian government stops actively hating the Canadian cannabis industry. They do. The way they treat it is abysmal. That what they've done, I mean, you just can't do any real marketing. You can't package your products correctly. There's so much wrong with that. And, of course, the high prices for a whole bunch of reasons. So I'm not holding out great hopes for the Canadian cannabis sector. I'm always happy to be surprised, but I see a lot of potential in U.S. cannabis news.
Sean, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thanks for having me on.
My guest has been Sean Brodrick, senior editor at WeissRatings.com. And Sean, maybe remind people of some of the other sites that you're editing.
Sure. Well, you can always find my free stuff at wealth-wave.com, and I have a monthly newsletter called Wealth Megatrends, and I have a gold newsletter called Gold and Silver Trader, and that's probably enough to remember for now. Thanks again, Sean. Thank you. My guest has been Sean Brodrick. If you have any questions for Sean or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@HowStreet.com, our YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @HowStreet. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.